What's going on, my roundtable? My name is Excaliber596, and we're going to talk about shapes today. This is a circle. This is a square. And this is the subject of today's video. Specifically these three. Well, technically it's actually 5, but also technically 4 since one of them's missing. But that's just a theory. Okay, theory. Thanks for subscribing and joining my Patreon if you like this video. It'll be a big help. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Triforce from Legend of Zelda. What it is, where it came from, what it does, and why everyone wants it inside the... So for anybody who's ever played a Zelda game, or have even heard anything about Legend of Zelda, you probably already know something about what the Triforce is. I mean, come on, it's the symbol of the series, for crying out loud. But you might not know everything about it, or are just really bad at explaining things to your friends, so I'm here to help you out with that. The Triforce is a powerful magical artifact made by the creators of the Zelda world, known as the Three Golden Goddesses. It's made up of 3 different triangular pieces, each representing a gift that their respective goddess gave to the land of Hyrule during its creation. The top one is the Triforce of Power, representing the goddess Din, who created the land. The one on the right is the Triforce of Courage, representing the goddess Farore, who created all life. And the one on the left is the Triforce of Wisdom, representing the goddess Nehru, who wrote the world's physical and spiritual laws. When brought together, they form the completed Triforce, which acts as a way to call upon the goddess's powers to grant wishes. Making a wish on the Triforce is pretty simple. All you have to do is place your hand on the Triforce, pray to the Golden Goddesses about your wish, and your heart's deepest desire will be granted. No loopholes, no be careful what you wish for bullshit. The wish is granted with your exact intentions in mind and will last until the time of your death, so long as the effects of the wish are not permanent, like wishing for someone or something's destruction. This time limit can be bypassed, however, if the wishmaker is either immortal or a spirit of someone who's already dead. This would mean that they cannot die or die again, and thus the wish lasts for as long as that entity exists. After its creation, the goddess has left the Triforce in the sacred realm under the protection of the goddess Hylia, and left never to be seen. While the Triforce was created by benevolent goddesses who gifted the world with its existence and life, its wish-granting power, and thus the power of the goddesses, are a mostly neutral force, being required to grant any wish regardless of the user's alignment to good or evil. As a result, if you were to enter the sacred realm in search of the Triforce, it would have a direct effect on the sacred realm where it makes its home. If you seek the Triforce for something good, like world peace or your blind sister, the sacred realm becomes the Golden Land, a beautiful paradise of golden sunshine and rainbows and happiness for anybody who enters. But if you seek the Triforce for evil, like world domination or wishing for putting ketchup on the bun before the hot dog to be normalized, it becomes the Dark World, a twisted, poopy land where people are turned into spooky monsters upon entry. Boo! You stink! Now, something that you may not have known about the Triforce is that it actually has some level of sentience. It's been known with the ability to call out to people, transform into animals, and transport people to other locations of its own will without needing to be wished upon. However, the most prominent example of this happens when the individual pieces of the Triforce choose their own hosts. You see, after the many times the Triforce has been split throughout the years, the 3 pieces of the Triforce attached themselves to spirits and bodies of those who best represented their qualities, granting them magical powers and increasing their strengths beyond the normal limits. So, if you're the most powerful person in Hyrule, as in a figurehead who could have gone pro if you hadn't joined the Navy, you'd snatch the Triforce of Power. If you've got the sound judgment of a fucking messiah, the Triforce of Wisdom's for you. And if you're just the bravest little boy you ever did see, the Triforce of Courage will be looking at you like, hello, nurse! The 3 most commonly chosen bearers of the Triforce are Ganondorf with the Triforce of Power, Zelda with the Triforce of Wisdom, and Link with the Triforce of Courage. Though theoretically, anybody who surpasses this quality in those people would get the Triforce instead. Each piece of the Triforce provides an increase in strength and magic power, as well as a special ability unique to that piece. The Triforce of Power is the strongest of the 3, giving the wielder a higher increase in strength and unlimited magic power, as well as making the user invulnerable to most attacks. This is also the only piece of the Triforce whose effects have been shown to stay with the bearer to some degree, even after it's been removed, as there have been many times where Ganondorf didn't have possession of the Triforce, yet was still still invulnerable. However, this is likely due to him having it within him for a much longer period of time than Link or Zelda have ever had with theirs. Next is the Triforce of Wisdom, which, while not giving as much of an increase in strength, makes up for it with a high increase in magical power and gives the user many magical abilities such as healing, telepathy, magical resistance, transformation, sealing, and most importantly, divine wisdom. Meaning that the wielder of the Triforce of Wisdom will always make the best decision under any circumstance. And finally, we have the Triforce of Courage, which is kind of the reverse of the Triforce of Wisdom, giving more of an increase in strength and a mild increase in magical power, allowing the bearer to cast spells, use magic items, and a less powerful resistance to magic. It's also possible that the Triforce of Courage allows the bearer to gain mastery over any tool or weapon they come into contact with. But that's just a theory. Okay, that's enough of that. It's even possible to be chosen by the entire Triforce at once, giving the bearer all 3 Triforce pieces on their hand along with unimaginable power. But this is an extremely rare occurrence, as the only person to have ever done this was Zelda from Breath of the Wild, and it also happened to coincide with Link being unconscious and Ganon being a mindless, enormous evil rage monster. The people chosen to wield the Triforce in this manner can be identified by the mark of the Triforce that appears on their right hand, showing which piece of the relic is in their possession. Though it should be noted that you don't necessarily need a Triforce piece to show the mark of the Triforce, as the mark will still appear if you're chosen, but will simply show an empty Triforce symbol. This mark also grants the user the ability to steal the other pieces of the Triforce from other holders of the mark, should they be unable to defend it, as doing so without a mark can only be done by either possessing the body of someone who has had or has the mark, or by willingly giving your piece to another. Both of which are very unlikely, as the only characters to have ever done this are Yuga, who possessed Ganon's body to steal the Triforce of Wisdom from Hilda in Link Between Worlds, and Zelda, who temporarily gave it to Midna in Twilight Princess when her life was on the line and needed its protection. So good luck trying to find a piece. If someone were to succeed, however, it would allow them to possess the completed Triforce within their bodies, giving them godlike levels of strength and magic. However, this likely comes at the exchange of being able to make a wish upon the completed Triforce, as a wish has only ever been made when it was outside of someone's body. Though removing the completed Triforce from your body is a pretty simple task and shouldn't be much of an issue for any holder of the complete Triforce unless someone were to reach the Triforce before you did and make their own wish. Now, say you wanted to make it more difficult for someone to obtain the whole Triforce because you find the idea of the most powerful man in the world with a wish-granting artifact absolutely terrifying, as you should. It's your lucky day, as each Triforce piece can be magically broken into smaller pieces and spread across the land, so even if someone did find the other 2 bearers of the mark, the Triforce would still be incomplete, making it impossible to make a wish until they found all of the broken pieces. It's also possible to completely destroy a Triforce, though how this is done is unknown, and doing so causes the world to become unstable, making it crumble into the darkness until it's replaced. So yeah, don't do that. Another thing you might not have known is that there are actually multiple Triforces across the Zeldaverse, as most alternate dimensions in Legend of Zelda have shown a symbol of the Triforce to some degree. The Kingdom of Lorule from Link Between Worlds has even shown its Triforce after it was wished back into existence by the Hyrulean Triforce. The only dimension that has been shown to not have a Triforce is the Twilight Realm, though considering how the realm appears fragmented, it's possible that the Twilight Realm may have lost its Triforce before the Twilight were banished there, and this is all that was left. But that's just a theory. Okay. Shut up! Now, I think that just about covers everything, but before I go, I'd like to make a shout out to my patrons on Patreon. Even though this isn't a part of the tier, shout out to ChristFollower13 for being my first Iron Sword tier patron. I really appreciate it. And a very, very special shout out to Pimp Demon for being my first Excalibur tier patron. You rock, bro. Let me know in the comments if you like these kinds of lore explained videos. I think I did a pretty good job with this one, and I'd like to do more of them in the future while I research for my other videos coming up. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will call you guys for the next council.